Amanda stood up and shouted, I not only repulsed the Black Paladin's lunge, I shift my weight forward, forcing the point of my blade past his spine. I pull my blade back with a flourishing coup de grace and leave him feebly grasping for his own escaping entrails. Me and the other adults at the table should have been shocked by this statement. Amanda, a young, mousy girl, she had large round glasses and wore a Gem in the Holograms t-shirt. Why would she say such things with such unabashed confidence? Why weren't we surprised or upset? It's because we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and her actions were not only acceptable, they were expected. We should have been shocked by the fact that Amanda displayed college-level language skills, strategic, abstract thinking, and excellent leadership. What sort of game encourages these? Dungeons & Dragons has been represented many times in the common media. You've seen it on shows such as The Big Bang Theory, Futurama, Community, normally as a butt of jokes. But a number of top well-known celebrities have played Dungeons & Dragons. Individuals such as MVP basketball's Tim Duncan, Stephen Colbert, actors such as Vin Diesel, Mike Myers, Robin Williams, even British Parliament conservative Michael Gove. In the next few minutes, I'll talk about the several ways in which Dungeons & Dragons develops language skills, abstract thinking, and organization. Let's first explain the language skills required for Dungeons & Dragons. This is a D&D player's handbook. To simply begin the game requires a book that has 300 pages. It has a Flesch-Kincaid readability scale of 12.1. That's the grade level. By comparison, that is somewhere between Wuthering Heights and War and Peace. By another comparison, the President's first State of the Union address had a grade scale level rating of 8.8, which is just below a high school freshman. But wait, you want to run a game? You'll need another book with 250 pages of complex rules, strategic guidelines and suggestions, and another 225 pages of ecology, descriptions, and information about monsters to put up against your heroes. I could keep going. There are 65 different other books that go along with just this game version. It's a foregone conclusion that Dungeons & Dragons, that literacy is a mandatory to play Dungeons & Dragons. And according to the Routledge Companion for English Studies, language is vital to the success in role-playing games, in both in terms of intuitive context and in language parsing. Where else besides in H.P. Lovecraft or Edgar Allan Poe would you find people using phrases such as antediluvian and amorphous, immiscibility and enervation, ungent and draught, or even phrases such as malevolent necromantic incantation? To sum it up, in Levi and his work on the Proceedings of the World Conference on e-learning, role-playing games set in immersive interval environments, leverage student interest in learning, and increase literacy and study in history. But the game doesn't just teach you about history, it teaches you about teamwork. The game is designed so that all of the characters have a set role. There is a fighter, the wizard, the rogue, and the cleric. No single character can survive on their own. No single character survives by themselves, and they have to work as a team. The players also have to learn to put aside their character's personal wants to meet with the team's goals. The barbarian has to learn to put aside his hatred of magic in order to work with the wizard to defeat his foes. The paladin, strict and intractable, has to learn to deal with the rogue skulking and backstabbing in order to get to the more devious types of foes he fights. And players in D&D know the rules and understand the consequences of not working as a team. There is no gamer who has not suffered a total party failure and death from not working as a team. And if that's not a life lesson, I'm not sure what is. And that's if you just want to play the game. If you're going to game master, you have to prepare. You have to read more books, you have to know more rules, you have to commit more hours to preparation. And this is sort of organized teaching and disciplined forethought. It becomes a vital skill in the future world. You learn to think about things of how will my players react? How will I react? How do I predict it whenever my players do unexpected things? Christopher Mims, the Wall Street Journal's technical manager, he describes in his Everything I Needed to Know About Management I Learned from Dungeons & Dragons. He said he learned to prepare performance evaluations based upon metrics, how to recognize employees' strengths and weaknesses, how a diverse team is necessary to survival. He even learned how awkward workplace romances can become. However, Dungeons & Dragons has gotten bad publicity recently, or in its past. Career Builder listed that using Dungeons & Dragons as an example of teamwork is an unusually common blunder made by interviewing candidates. However, according to Beck and Wade's article in Got Game, from managers they surveyed, they discovered that in their experience, gamers are committed, team-oriented professionals who play to win. There's also statements that D&D causes suicides. Patricia Polian, after the death of her son, suicide of her son, spearheaded a report pointing D&D towards suicides. The satanic manic hysteria even got as far as a 60 Minutes expose. Sci-fi author Michael Stackpole countered it and reviewed the report. He found that an extensive review, most of the conclusions were based upon false information or misleading information. And in 1987, Armando Simon, in his Psychology of the Schools, performed a study, an extensive one, using rigorous testing protocol and waited for the number of years that the participants played Dungeons & Dragons. He discovered there is no significant deviation in the non-playing control group. And in fact, there is actually a greater instance of free thinking and original thinking amongst the players. So we're back to Amanda. Here was a young girl who had a broad and diverse vocabulary, understanding of strategic teamwork, and who led others through her successes. D&D is a tool that equips people with the skills to face the challenges of life adventures. Any game that teaches teamwork, abstract thinking, and organization is a powerful tool. Even if Amanda didn't learn all of these skills from Dungeons & Dragons, it's certain that by playing, she strengthened these skills and gained confidence. And that's how Dungeons & Dragons made her a winner. Thank you.